Thank you. As chair of the Guilford Selectboard, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Addendum 6 to Executive Order 01-20 and Act 92, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. In accordance with Act 92, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with the temporary amendments to the open meeting law, I confirm that we are 1, providing public access to the meeting by video with additional access offered through telephone. We are using Google Meet remote meeting. All members of the Guilford Select Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if desired, participating in this meeting by going to https://meet.google.com/asa-iyd-wvy, or by calling 617-675-4444 and entering the following PIN number: 872-269-346-7823 #. 2. Providing public notice of instructions from the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using video and telephone in our posted meeting agenda and on the town website at guilfordvermont.net. 3. Providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please telephone 254-4117. And 4, continuing the meeting if necessary. In the event the public is unable to access this meeting, it will be continued to a time and place certain. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote in accordance with the law. Let's get the meeting started by taking the roll. Rusty Marine? Here. Miranda Porch?
Here.
Michael Becker? Michael? Well, he's there somewhere. Zon Eastis?
Here.
Okay. Very good. We're all here, and the meeting is called to order. I'd like to recognize the public. I see that there's someone here. Jacob Leach. Hello and welcome.
You're muted, Jake.
You're muted. And the rules of procedure, there are rules that govern the public's interaction with the select board, Jacob, and those rules basically are that we are civil with each other and we raise our hands when we have a question, and none of us are rude to one another. It's a loving Guilford family. Are there any additions to the agenda?
I do not have any.
Yeah.
Zon, you have an addition?
Yes, and a brief discussion about the CUD and mailing insert potential.
Okay, let's put that. Well, that would be old business, wouldn't it be? And it would be CUD update.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. Step away from the back.
Okay.
Hi, Jake.
Are there any changes to the agenda order?
I don't have any, but I thought you might, Richard.
Yes, I do. I'd like to remove, actually, from the agenda the discussion of a mask wearing recommendation from the Select Board, given that the Governor has issued an executive order that... Michael, can you quiet down there a little bit, please?
Sorry, just getting situated.
Okay.
I apologize.
There's an awful lot of noise coming from you. the governor has issued an executive order which would, if you don't mind my use of the word, trump any recommendation that the Guilford Select Board might have. So we can remove that from the agenda.
But I would like to add that we support it.
Okay. You've just said it, right?
That's right.
Okay, good. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as I think they were altered, corrected rather, Miranda?
Yes, there were tiny typos, and yes, I move that we accept the minutes.
Do I have a second of that motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Rusty. Is there any discussion? Very good. I will take the roll then. Rusty?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Zahn?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. All right, the minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Danny, you're up on the highway update.
Hello, how is everybody?
Good. Can you move over to what would be there? There
better?
you are. There's
Hey!
that face.
Hello. Everybody staying cool?
Not really.
It's pretty hot.
It is hot.
No, we for a general update, we're still doing culverts, doing ditching, still be mowing roadsides for quite a while. Then when the leaves start coming down, we'll be blowing leaves. Another couple of weeks, we'll start be doing our fall grading. We'll be grading roads. The next Selectboard's meeting, we'll be having sand bids to review.
Okay.
I'm going to be putting them out to bid here this week when I get a minute. Other than that, that's pretty much we'll just be going to be doing our regular routine stuff, a lot of culverts and just the stuff that we normally do. So.
Great. Well, thank you for that update.
Yeah.
Does the select board have any questions or yes, please?
What's that?
Yes. Were there many washouts from the last?
We had a few, just, the places that the water don't go nowhere. It just comes down the road and, I mean, really
And
ain't much
can I add my driveway?
No.
Zahn says no.
No, I didn't mean to add.
Myra.
I didn't mean to add it to the work. I meant to add it to the content of the washed out roads. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when it rains hard like that, there ain't much you can do. I mean, we do need rain, but not like that. So.
Right.
That's probably about all I got. I mean, unless you guys got any questions or whatever.
Are there any questions or further comments?
I just have a question for you, Dan. Are you guys there? Because we had some discussions in a meeting before about how well the building is as compared to the roof. Is there some time I can come up there and just look at the building?
Yeah, just come up anytime. We start at 6. We're 6 to 3:30,
Okay.
and then Fridays we go 6 to 10.
Okay.
So we're
Thank you.
pretty much we're usually around the garage until about 6:45, and then we're gone. So.
Okay.
But sometimes, if it's a rainy day, we're around working on equipment and stuff
Okay,
like that.
thank
But just give a holler and come up anytime.
Okay. Thanks.
It's not like you got very far to go.
Yeah.
It's a long walk.
Okay. Now the process that we're going to follow here is that we're going to sign out of this meeting, and we're
First,
going to...
Richard, we need 2 motions. The first,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Thank you.
you need
Peter.
someone to move that premature knowledge of discussions could potentially put the town at significant disadvantage.
I will move that. Do I have a second for that?
I will say.
Yeah.
Okay, Zahn seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those I'll take the roll. Rusty?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Zahn?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. So that motion carries. Peter, would you read us the second motion?
The second motion is someone to move to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters per 1 VSA 313, Section A, subsection 1. And if you wish to invite either Dan or myself, you should note that as well.
Okay, well, the process that I laid out was that we were inviting you into the first part of the executive session, and then we're inviting Dan. We'll call in Dan soon after.
So, do we all have is the address for the executive session the thing that was mailed to us earlier today?
Yes,
Yes,
that's correct.
Peter.
We should finish this motion, Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, do I have a second of that motion, please?
Yes.
Don seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, that Michael, I will take the roll. Rusty?
Yeah.
Veranda?
Yes?
Michael?
Aye.
Don?
I
The motion carries.
Okay, so Jacob, what's going to happen is we're going to leave this session. You can remain in it, and the select board, when they're done with their executive session, they will return to this and for the portion in which you will be a part of. Okay.
Okay. Should I stay on the call?
Yes, you can do that. I mean, you can do other things, but yes, stay on the call because we don't know how long the select board will take for this section. It could be 5
Okay.
minutes. It could be 15. I'm not sure. It's up to them.
Okay. Yep.
We hope it's not too long. So you all got Peter sent out 2 addresses. One. For
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.
Okay, one for this meeting.
Okay, I've started recording.
The Guilford Select Board has left executive session with no action taken. Now let us resume our agenda, please, if we will. Annual clearinghouse queries for CDL drivers, Peter?
Yes, so shortly after, a couple days after our previous meeting, excuse me, sorry, I had received an email.
It happens to all podcast addicts.
I had received an email notifying us. So there were some changes about a year ago that VLCT had notified us would be happening relating to our CDL drivers. And so there was a new website that the Federal Department of Motor Vehicles or Transportation, created, in which I had to create an account for the town, etc. So I received an email notifying us that starting July 1st, moving forward, anyone who has drivers with a commercial driver's license has to conduct annual background checks on those drivers. I really just wanted to notify the select board that this will be happening. So for this first round, they're being quite generous with us, and they're giving us until the end of the calendar year to perform these checks. They will be done through the Department of Transportation website. There is a minimal fee of about $5 per driver that it costs to do these checks. But just wanted to notify the select board that, so for those of you who don't remember or don't know, I am what's called the designated employer representative. So I am a non-CDL driver that I've been through a series of trainings put on by VLCT related to drug and alcohol testing and other things around that. And so it's my responsibility to notify the select board of any potential violations, etc. So it's also part of that responsibility is to conduct these background checks. And so I just
Okay, thanks, Peter. Do we have any questions or comments? Very good. On to the next item in the Conservation Commissioner appointment. We had a letter from Linda Hecker, I believe it was.
Yes, so Linda notified me that a resident of Guilford who has been working with the Conservation Commission as a citizen volunteer in Montgomery has been very active, and they voted at their last meeting that they would like to nominate her as to fill their vacant role, and would like to present that to the select board.
And do we need to vote on that nomination?
Yes, so if you are in support of that, I would need a motion to appoint Ann Montgomery as a new Conservation Commissioner.
Do I have a motion? Veranda motions. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael. Is there any discussion?
Good.
Veranda, on the motion, can I have your vote, please?
Oh, aye.
Okay, Rusty,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Richard, aye. The motion is carried. When we will have and I think we have a very good nominee there, who will, a commissioner, I should say. She's now a commissioner. Thank you very much. And BBC, the partnership agreement. Peter, did you want to
Yep.
fill us in on that?
Just very briefly, if for select board members, if you remember last year, the select board signed an annual agreement with the Brattleboro Community Center to provide space for the town to use at a fee of approximately $5,000, well, not approximately, for $5,000 per year. I have been contacted by Jamie Durham, their manager, requesting the select board to approve the partnership agreement for FY21. The one point I would make to the select board about this is, in light of the potential impacts of COVID-19 on our budget, that this is one item that the select board is in consideration for cutting should we need to make cuts. So that is up to you folks how you would like to proceed, but that's what they would like to hear from you folks.
When is the when is the signing necessary? When do we have to sign by?
They really wanted it signed by July 1st, and they forgot to contact us, so it's a little bit late. But they understand if the select board needs to make any discussion or decision on the matter, and appreciate that it was on them for not contacting us sooner.
And what is the select board's? What would you like to do, select board?
Tricky.
I'm in favor of going forward with the contract.
At $5,000?
It did occur to me that perhaps we could negotiate in this climate, because we're probably not going to use the building for a while, given that we can't have public assemblies. So would you like to do that to see if we can negotiate a different price, or do you want to just knock it off completely?
So if I can make one brief point to that, Richard, a couple things. Remember that there's a potential that the library will be using it for the next couple of weeks should we have inclement weather for their summer camps.
Right.
We also, Penny and her staff will be using the facility in August for the presidential primary, and Penny and her staff will also be using the facility in November for the election. So we have 3 major events upcoming in the next several months.
Well, is anybody else in favor of going forward, Zon? What's your...
I wonder if we could, I mean, it's slowing it down maybe, but could we consider a per-use fee or something like that? I mean, maybe that's a little crazy, but we all have to consider budgets during this time. And maybe we could negotiate a per-use fee, because I sort of imagine, in spite of what Peter's saying, that we won't be using it in quite the same way, and we don't have the same freedoms, I think, that we had in previous years financially.
Veranda?
I know the food pantry is continuing to use it, and so essential projects for our town are going forward there, and I wonder whether we could have a meeting with them and just bring our concerns, theirs and ours, to the table and try to come up with something together.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good idea. Is there anybody who objects to that, of not voting to sign this now, but basically to engage in a conversation that would include negotiation of the current fee?
I'm in
does that
favor.
sound?
That works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do then. Peter, can you? That will be in the minutes, and I would be happy to be a person who has represents the select board. Does anybody else want to join in that meeting?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, thank you. So 2 is enough, I think.
Oh,
Very
we
good.
we can only have 2 just because of open meeting law.
Okay, very good. So that's done. Excellent. On to old business. Recreation Commission storage shed.
So that's why Jake is here, is to
Hi, Jake.
explain from the
Hello.
Recreation Commission their side of the situation.
Okay.
And thanks for your patience.
Can you frame up the issue, or Peter, or the question that before Jake speaks to it?
As the select board hopefully remembers, last year Wendy and Eric, our chair and treasurer of the Recreation Commission, came to the select board requesting an increase in their budget of roughly $3,300 for the purpose of purchasing a shed to store much of this recreational equipment that they have come by for the community, instead of storing it at the library, at people's homes, and other places in the school. Through the discussion with the select board felt that was something that should come out of the capital budget, as it benefits the town as a whole, and that it should not be an increase in the Recreation Commission budget. And so you folks agreed to that. And at one point, there was going to be, Jake, you can hopefully clarify this, someone from the Recreation Commission was going to work on building that with the materials purchased. And now there have been a few changes, and that's not on the table any longer. So they're requesting either to purchase a pre-built shed or to hire a contractor to build one for us.
Okay, Jake, let's hear from you.
Yeah. So we have looked at numerous options, and we have found an option for a pre-built shed that's existing up in, I think, I forget where it was, a little north, and that didn't seem like the greatest option. It wasn't in the greatest shape, but we could get that for free, but then it meant shipping it down. We have also heard a quote from the high school. That was last year, and they had given a quote that was very reasonable. I thought $2,700 to build it on site. But I'm not sure where they're at this year. Since the kids haven't been in session.
Right.
I think that would be a great option. In order for me to build it, I would be happy to do that. And we have talked about getting quotes from numerous contractors, but what we'd like to do is have a shed that's maybe an 8x12 shed on the premises of the town office, to store all the cross-country skis and snowshoes that we've been working in conjunction with the library with, and to have those over the winter and keep them from having the weather affect them. Trying to have a space that keeps them safe and keeps them from being affected by the moisture, the humidity, and weather.
So there's not a proposal that's been developed yet. I mean, because the select board would have to have a proposal for a specific shed and with a cost.
Right. Yep.
In order to approve it or disapprove it.
So, from my communication with Wendy, it was my understanding that the best, or what the Recreation Commissioners felt was likely the best option is to look at purchasing a pre-built one. And so I understood that they wanted permission to get some quotes for that and then to present that to the select board at a later meeting. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. And we've been looking at like Home Depot and as well as the high school. There's a lot of options. What I found is some of them are totally inadequate. We purchased a metal shed through what's it called? I'm forgetting the name. But anyway, from a big box store. We tried to put that together last year at the library, and it was so inadequate that I ended up having to ship it back to them. So what we're looking for is to install a shed there that will hold up, and we can do that through a pre-built shed. Order that, or we can have a contractor build it, whether that's me or someone.
So can I suggest then, I mean, if the select board is in favor of this, that you come up, you prepare a proposal with what the cost and what the shed is, and then put that before the select board for its review of it in the context of expending the money out of our capital funds.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jake, will you preview whatever sheds? I mean, you'll come to us with a description of things that are good possibilities, in other words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I've been discouraged by a lot of the options, but I would like to come forward with some of the options that seem reasonable, as well as some proposals from myself and other contractors. So
I myself would prefer you to just give us a proposal for what the Recreation Commission decides is the most cost-effective and useful shed. One proposal that you guys decide on is what you think is the best item for you, and then with the budget, and let the select board either give you an up or down approval.
okay.
So just per town policy with this, when you're considering this, Jacob, there's 2 points to note. One is due to the cost being above $1,500. Town policy states that we need to have 3 different options to consider. If you can't find 3 different options, there needs to be a clear justification why you only found the ones that you did. The second point is that whatever the Recreation Commission decides on, it needs to be apples to apples comparison. So it needs to be, for example, either 3 different pre-built sheds or 3 different contractors who are willing to give a quote to build the exact same shed, 8 by 12 with XYZ roofing and XYZ siding, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And if you need help with putting that bid together, Peter is an expert at that, and he would be willing to help you, right,
Of
Peter?
course.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Okay. All right. So just to summarize that, you present the board with three options that you guys have, that the Recreation Commission has enthusiasm about, and then let us make the decision. Because the Rec Commission would have already decided that you could live with any of the 3.
Right. Yep.
And we want to express our appreciation for what the Rec Commission has drawn together for the town. I mean, the very fact that there's all this great stuff to store shows, what our Rec Commission has already done.
Thank you, Miranda. Moving on to background checks. We wanted to
Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome to enjoy the rest of the meeting, should you wish.
Background checks. Peter, do you want to present that? We do have a memo from you, which basically provides us with 2 options.
Yep. So at the request of the Select Board, I followed up and did a little background check on the 3 consultants that were recommended to us by VLCT. I got information about their individual backgrounds, as well as I got 3 recommendations for the consultants. The request for professional recommendation was either from other Vermont municipalities or from the state of Vermont. As you saw in my memo, one of the consultants has a full-time gig at the moment, and she was unavailable to do any work, outside work, until September. The other 2 consultants were very prompt in replying to me. Both were rather detailed in their responses, and all 3 recommendations for each consultant were exceptional, which I'm sure.
Peter, do we have to have bids on? Do we have to put this out to bid if we want to put this out to Dan Troidel and Bill Burgess? Does it have to go out as a bid, or do we have to? That's my question. Do we have to have this bid on?
No, we do not have to put this to a bid. A, because of the cost, and B, in a sense, this was a bid by invitation, is how it could be seen.
Okay.
So in my opinion, I think the Select Board could choose one of the 2 individuals. Their estimated costs were relatively similar. It seems from the information provided that the services are also relatively similar.
That's the impression I had.
Are these the people that, I mean, we're having figures of around $8,000?
That was a mistake on my part, which Richard caught and notified me. So Dan Troidel estimated that it would be his hourly fee is $85 an hour. He estimated that a law enforcement background check takes approximately 10 hours plus an additional $100 in search fees. And then
Burgess.
Yes, Mr. Burgess said that his ranges from approximately $850 to $2,000, depending on the specifics that the Select Board requests, as well as whether or not the individual who's being checked has lived in multiple states.
I have another question for you, Peter. Are we sure that the constable is going to be the constable before we go ahead? And we have to do the background check if we have a constable.
Yes, we do. So yes, he is interested, and the Select Board did appoint him as constable.
Okay.
With the caveat of doing a background check on him. So,
right. Does anybody? Yes, Miranda. Yes.
Have we hired? I mean, our concept of the constable. I mean, in my reading, there's a range of responsibilities that constables have. Are we looking for a real law enforcement officer?
So this is it's not really an option. So back in the early 1980s, at town meeting, the residents at that time conferred upon the constable full law enforcement authority, and the only way that can be rescinded is at another town meeting. So at this point in time, a constable does have full capacity to do everything from make arrests to investigate cases to all those sorts of things, as well as carry a sidearm.
So we have a constable. It's a law enforcement constable. We have to get the constable vetted. And did anybody have a particular, out of Troidel or Burgess? I liked Mr. Troidel's resume. He had very distinguished high positions with the state police as an investigator, and that's my choice. But I'd like to hear everybody's choice.
I would concur with you, Richard. That was my initial impression as well.
I will concur with you, Richard.
Anyone else?
I'm okay with that. I'd like to I'd like to approach the town at the next town meeting, should we meet, to reduce the responsibilities of our constable.
Okay, well, that's for a future.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to have the clarification that we must do the background check, because I had a real belt tightening objection to it.
Okay, it's only $800 or so. But.
Okay.
And I would, well, this is peripherally related to this question or conversation. I would suggest that this is something that the town should do for all people moving forward, whether it's constable or a new employee. It's highly recommended by VLCT and not something that has happened since prior to my time here, but that's just a personal opinion.
Okay, well, that's another for future consideration. Any other questions or comments? Do you want to go with Troidal?
Yes.
Someone should make a motion then, please.
Okay, would someone make a motion? I will make a motion that we retain Investigator Troidal to carry out a background check on Guilford's constable.
I will second.
Richard, may I suggest that you amend your motion to also include to negotiate a final contract fee?
And to negotiate a final contract fee. Thank you. And did I have a second for that?
Michael would
I'll
need
second
to, reapprove
the
this.
amended motion.
Is there any discussion? Further discussion? All right, I should take the roll. Veranda Porch,
Yeah.
Rusty Marine,
Aye.
Zon Eastis,
Aye.
Michael Becker.
Aye.
Richard Wazansky, what do you think? Yes. Okay. So the
He's
motion
getting to it.
Yeah,
The
the
motion-
heat.
The motion carries. We want to move this meeting along so that we can go and quench our thirst or whatever, jump in the lake or whatever, right? Very good. Thank you very much. That was efficiently done, I must say. Peter, we have a COVID-19 update.
Yep, so there isn't much of an update this week. Things are still looking very good in Vermont compared to many, many other states across the country. It's been a minimum of 35 days since Vermont has seen a death related to COVID-19. This is excellent news. And the final and rather important thing is that last week Governor Scott amended his current executive order stating that in situations where maintaining a 6-foot minimum distance between individuals is not possible, that wearing a mask is now required by law in public places.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter. And now we have a CUD update from Zon.
Yes, thank you. The Communications Union District is taking opportunity. Some towns, there are now 15 towns in the district, and some towns are choosing to put a one-page document inserted in with upcoming tax bills. It's not required, it's not mandated or anything, but each town has to address it individually. Some towns are choosing making the appropriate arrangements to just have it inserted with the tax bill, just to inform people about the CUD, what's going on with it as of right now, as a kind of jump up to learning more and more as we go forward. There are 5 towns that have agreed to do it, are set to do it right now, with maybe 2 or 3 more are in the works, and I don't know about all the others where they stand. I did a little bit of homework to find out whether or not it was even possible to do here, and Penny requested that I first come to the Selectboard to see whether or not it's something we approve. I will say personally that I'm not inclined to do it, simply because it sets a precedent for inserting other pieces of information with tax bills, which can become a problem as we go forward, I could imagine. So it's just simple and clean to keep the tax bills as tax bills. On the other hand, some towns have decided that this is something important enough that they want to move forward. So I'm just putting it out there. I have no personal feelings one way or the other.
Okay, I agree with you about the precedent. I don't think that we should do it, but I do think we should promote it. We write an article in the Gazette, for instance, which
there is one coming out.
Yeah, great.
Gazette.
And that's very well read. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people who wait for it and read it. So I'm interested to know what other we have two members who are sort of disinclined to set a precedent because you know that once something goes into the tax bill that every group will want equal time to do that, and I think that is opening up a can of worms.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
good.
Rusty,
Thank you.
agree?
Thank you.
All right, does anybody did you say you agree, Veranda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So we've taken care of that. We're not going to do it.
So, and just to provide backup information, that this request has come before the select board several times in my tenure with the town. And aside from the fact that it produces a considerable amount of additional work for town staff, the reasons that you have stated tonight have been similar reasons in the past. I don't think it's a good idea personally. So I think you're making a good decision.
Thank you, Peter. On to the warrants, Veranda.
Okay. Okay, I move that we pay the following warrants. Payroll week 7, 1920 for the tune of $5,583.95. Payroll week 7, 2620, $6,243.03. Expense warrant number 2002 for the sum of $31,026.69 for a grand total of $42,853.67. A few notes about
Do
this.
I have a second?
Yes, second.
Okay,
Second.
John seconded. And
Okay,
discussion?
a few notes about this. The largest expenses were the quarterly health insurance, which was $4,454. Gravel, once again, weighing in at $2,030. Mower repairs, $5,343. And the architect who is doing the feasibility study for the Guilford Free Library, $8,200, and the Solid Waste District quarterly assessment at $3,489.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll take the vote. Veranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Zahn?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. Thank you very much. The warrants carry. Any communications tonight, Peter?
No, I do not have any communications, and I'll just move directly on to the action summary from last meeting. The select board confirmed the internal controls procedure. The select board authorized employee pay increases for the fiscal year. Richard and Peter were to work on details for the potential of select board meetings outdoors. Richard and Peter were to contact the Minots to get their input on the parking issue, as well as work with Danny on taking next steps. Peter was to make changes to the website to share more information about the Finance Advisory Committee and make their minutes and agenda easier to find. Richard, Rusty, and Peter were to redraft the vacation section of the personnel policy. Peter was to inquire about the background information and cost for the consultants. And Peter and Richard and Zahn to draft select board recommendations for wearing masks in public places. Moving on, actions taken tonight. The select.
Peter, let me just ask. The Minots, was that action completed?
I did call them and did not reach them the first time, and I need to follow up again tomorrow.
And have you started working with Dan on the parking issue?
Yes, so Dan, I did have a very nice conversation with Dan last week, which I informed Richard about. He and a couple of the guys will move a large log down to the parking area to reduce the chance of anyone pulling over the edge of the embankment. And Dan is also going to order a number of signs. He's going to order one sign with the recommended wording from the Green River Village Preservation Trust regarding parking. He's also going to order several no parking signs for the other side of the road so it doesn't get too congested. And then he's going to order another sign that says additional parking with an arrow pointing down River Road.
Great. Thank you. That's an
Peter.
action taken. And what about the actions to be taken, Peter?
Actions to be taken tonight is that Richard, Veranda, and Peter will negotiate the FY21 partnership agreement with Broadbrook Community Center. You appoint, to be taken, I already said that Ann was appointed. The Recreation Commission will present the Select Board with 3 options for a shed at the next meeting. And the other action that you did take is that you chose to retain Dan Troyle to do a background check, and that is all.
Very good. So we're looking for, thank you very much, Peter, for the good work, and Select Board in all of you. And we're looking for a motion now. I can't imagine what it is.
Okay, Rusty moved.
Second.
Has someone moved? Zahn has moved.
No, Zahn seconded. Rusty already moved, Richard. Zahn seconded.
Oh, okay. Is there any discussion?
Should old acquaintance be forgot?
Veranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Zahn?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. The motion is carried. Thank you very much, lady and
Good
gentlemen.
work, everyone.
Yes, very good work.
Good night, everyone. I'm going to stop
Good night,
recording.
everybody.